Wait, every drop of sweat counts as dementia prevention? That sounds huge.
It's huge, but I hate when people oversell one number like it's magic.
But they said 30% less dementia risk with walking, right?
Right, but we have to remember correlation versus causation always.
Correlation versus causation, fine, but my knees still want the correlation.
Your knees are lobbying for the Neuroscience Committee.
Okay, hippocampus, prefrontal cortex, and this whole brain plasticity story.
The best part is they're not saying new brain cells like a fantasy.
They literally frame movement as releasing growth factors into the hippocampus.
Growth factors, sure, but do we know how much translates to real-world lifestyles?
That London taxi driver example felt more grounded than random internet claims.
Back of the hippocampus got bigger is the kind of sentence I can respect.
And it's spatial memory, which is basically what those drivers train for relentlessly.
The enriched rat cages also track, but rats are not humans, obviously.
True, no one's setting up Disney World rat cages in their apartment.
Unless you're the kind of person who owns a treadmill for your pet hamster.
But then she goes straight to practical exercise. Get your heart rate up.
I liked the simplicity. Is your heart rate up? No need to worship a specific brand.
Still, aerobic is vague. People do CrossFit and think it counts automatically.
Exactly, and also intensity matters, but not everyone can start hard safely.
She did give an entry point. For low-fit people, 2-3 times a week helped.
I love that she named the experiment instead of selling a secret protocol.
But I'm stuck on the spin class gradient. More sweat, more brain change.
More is better is plausible, but we should be careful about overshooting and burnout too.
Burnout is the enemy. Ironically, the brain hates it.
The segment on decision-making was interesting too. Sedentary could mean worse prefrontal function.
So my bad decisions weren't personality, they were cardio debt.
Cardio debt is the only debt I'm rooting for people to pay off.
She frames attention and shifting as particularly sensitive to activity.
Do we know if exercise causes attention improvements, or do attentive people just exercise more?
Fair, but even if it's partly bidirectional, you still get mood and focus benefits.
Yeah, and mood is not a small thing. It's basically the thermostat for everything else.
That serotonin, dopamine, noradrenaline quick hits before a talk? That's so real.
The reaction time piece, too, like a single workout makes you faster to respond.
That's why I'm imagining a push-up between meetings now.
If someone sees you do push-ups in a hallway, tell them it's prefrontal cortex maintenance.
My hippocampus needs service, yeah.
Also, I'm glad she connected memory types, facts, events versus working memory versus motor memory.
Because people say memory like it's one button, but it's really different systems.
And then the marketer-podcaster tie-in, repetition, association, novelty, emotional resonance.
That 4-part list is useful, but I'm suspicious of how neatly it maps to actual marketing outcomes.
You're suspicious of everything until you can test it in your own life, aren't you?
Guilty, so I'm obsessed with the self-experimentation part.
Coffee titration was my favorite pivot because it avoids dogma.
Caffeine helps some people. Overstimulation ruins word retrieval. Yep, that matches experience.
Some of us don't need more energy, we need less chaos.
Exactly, and her framing was, adjust dose based on your cognition, not vibes.
Still, I wish the show had cautioned about sleep, because coffee can steal your night.
If you mess up sleep, your memory and mood are basically collateral damage.
But overall, the message is empowering. It's never too late to start walking.
Longer you stay active, longer you stave off damage is the kind of hope I can operationalize.
And walking is almost comically doable, which makes it sustainable.
It's the anti-gimmick, go outside, move your body, don't overthink it.
Unless you're holding a wet brain model, then overthinking is mandatory.
That wet Betty moment should be illegal. How do you forget your brain after that?
Right? Like you can't pretend your head is fine after you see the inside.
It reframes the whole identity thing. Your life is literally shaped by what you feed and do.
The wet brain thing. How are people not instantly obsessed with their health?
Because everyone's like, my abs look great, and nobody's checking Betty's vibe.
That's what I hate. The brain becomes invisible until it hurts later.
But the plasticity angle makes it feel less like doom and more like agency.
Agency. The adult brain can literally change shape based on what you do daily.
Sure, but I want the practical version. What moves, what counts, what's placebo?
Placebo doesn't release growth factors into your hippocampus, Malik.
Okay, hit me. What's the one rule that doesn't require becoming a scientist?
Heart rate up, just aerobic activity, anything that makes you breathe harder.
So favorite workout is not the decider, the physiology is?
Exactly. Don't romanticize it. If your heart rate's not up, your brain gets less signal.
This is so annoying because I love my excuses, and my heart rate hates excuses.
The claim is every drop of sweat counts, and the evidence points to dose matters.
Dose matters, yes, but how much is enough without wrecking my schedule?
There were experiments with low-fit people doing aerobic 2-3 times weekly and seeing improvements.
Improvements in mood and memory, not just, I feel better because I moved.
Mood, memory, and shifting attention. Those are brain function targets, not vibes alone.
Shifting attention is such a gangster sentence, like your prefrontal cortex learns to operate.
And reaction time, too. One workout can sharpen performance immediately.
That's the I can speak better today translation, right?
Yes, dopamine, focus, and faster response from a single session before you go on stage.
I buy the focus part, but is reaction time really that measurable?
The point is directionally consistent. Motion primes neural systems for quicker processing.
Translation: trampoline. Tony wasn't doing branding, he was doing brain maintenance.
I mean, it can be both. But yes, it's rational neuroscience, not just theatrics.
Then the part that hits hardest is dementia risk reduction. Does walking really move the needle?
The study with older adults found about 30% lower dementia probability over the next years with regular activity.
Regular being like 3 walks a week, not triathlon training?
Exactly. Doable behavior changes, which is why it's not depressing, it's realistic.
But dementia isn't one cause, so exercise is part of a whole stack, right?
Totally. Alzheimer's cause is still unclear, and drugs are limited, so lifestyle links matter.
And the mechanism story is neat. Exercise releases neurochemicals and growth factors feeding the hippocampus.
Bubble bath of neurochemicals is the least academic way to explain something accurate.
I'm stealing that line in my own head every time I walk.
Do you think that's why people can feel sharper after exercise the same day?
Partly, mood and attention systems respond fast, while structural changes are longer term.
Right, and the structural talk is about new cells and synapses, especially hippocampus and prefrontal cortex.
New cells is always the word that makes me cautious, because people overhype it.
Caution is fair. Exercise isn't magic, but it supports repair-like processes and slows vulnerability.
So not walk once, become immortal, but walk and you delay the villain arc.
Villain arc? I love that. Also, I'm convinced sedentary living makes you worse at decision-making.
That's a strong claim. Sedentary equals worse prefrontal functioning?
They said there's potential. Regular physical activity improves attention shifting, which is decision-making adjacent.
Adjacent, yes, but I want boundaries, because stress, sleep, and diet also wreck decisions.
Oh, definitely. This is not a one-variable model, Malik, but exercise is a lever with evidence.
And it's almost comically easy. No special equipment, just go outside.
Just walk sounds boring, but it's the least glam intervention with real payoff.
My brain hates boring. Then I do it, and my brain stops complaining.
Okay, let's talk coffee, because she basically admits mixed messages and people need clarity.
Yes, caffeine can help alertness, but overstimulation could mess with articulating thoughts.
The smart framing was self-experimentation. Titrate your coffee like a variable, not a religion.
But can you really quantify best coffee without turning into a mad scientist?
You only need a simple log: mood, sleep, and whether your words come out clean.
So coffee becomes biohacking, but low-effort biohacking.
Exactly. Your brain is the experiment, not your identity.
I also liked the memory isn't one thing idea. Facts, motor memory, and working memory.
And that's why some people navigate perfectly, while others remember names badly.
My friends are built like GPS. I'm built like, wait, turn left, emotionally.
Everyone's hippocampus skills differ by context, plus attention habits shape what you encode.
That connects to the marketing nerd part. 4 things make memory stick: repetition, association, novelty, emotion.
Yes, and novelty is basically attention wakes up, because your brain treats it as important.
But cliché fails. So how do you create novelty without being performative?
Use surprise strategically, then anchor it with repetition and emotion. Otherwise, it's just random chaos.
Emotional resonance via the amygdala jolt. Happy or sad memories stick harder.
So my sad gym song playlist is either genius or disastrous.
Just don't make Betty sad. We're trying to grow the big, fat, fluffy brain, not traumatize it.
The bigger reality check is this: your brain already responds to what you do today.
So the question isn't, should I care? It's, what will my routine teach my hippocampus and prefrontal cortex?
And routine can be small: a morning walk, a dog invitation, or just making heart rate rise.
If we can operationalize it, walk, repeat, add novelty, protect sleep, we get a real plan.
Plus, you never have to look at a wet brain to start, which is honestly a relief.
But if you ever do, don't forget, everything you are fits in that tofu sphere daily.
Okay, let's wrap this before we both start Googling, where can I get a wet brain exhibit?
Too late. It's already in my search history as Betty Preserved Humane.
On that note, go move your body and give your brain a reason to stay fluffy.
And we'll see you in episode 2 when we talk about the other levers: food, sleep, and the routines that actually stick.
Next up, how the Mediterranean-style choices and memory habits reinforce the brain gains. You start with exercise.
I love the big fat fluffy framing, but it makes me nervous too.
Nervous how? Like, are you worried it's salesy science?
I'm worried people hear it and do one walk and call it a strategy.
Yeah, because the study language sounds clean, but real life is chaotic.
Exactly. The dopamine focus reaction time stack feels immediate, so motivation spikes.
And then 2 days later, they're like, where's my instant genius?
Why am I still me? Classic.
They want brain upgrades like software patches, not biology.
But the good news is exercise is the most universally doable lever.
Do you buy her every drop of sweat counts thing literally?
Literally? No. But directionally, it matches the dose-response vibes.
The experiments were basically low-fit versus active, and both showed brain benefits.
I liked the low-fit guideline, 2 to 3 times a week, 45 minutes.
That's such a normal number, which means people might actually follow it.
But what about people already exercising regularly? What's their ceiling?
Ceiling is the danger zone because everyone's like, I already do it, prove it.
The up to 7 times a week spin studio result basically said, more sweat, more change.
Which is comforting and also annoying because it implies you can always do more.
Like there's no final boss fight, just a treadmill of self-improvement.
Still, her point is practical. You're not hunting a magic workout, you're raising heart rate.
So aerobic is the key word, not perfect program. People get trapped in optimization.
Optimization is the enemy of consistency, especially with brain health.
And brain plasticity being real is the core, right? Adult brains can change shape.
The Marion Diamond Rat Disney World story always hooks me.
Because the rat toy cage turns into, actually give them a running wheel.
That's the bridge. Enriched environments suggest structure changes, but movement seems causal.
And then London taxi drivers. Learning creates hippocampus differences in posterior regions.
Learning versus exercise is different, though, right? One's cognitive training.
True, but it supports the plasticity principle. The brain remodels based on demand.
Exactly. The takeaway is your environment writes on your brain constantly.
So when she ties this to dementia probability reduction, 30% less with 3 walks weekly, that's huge emotionally.
Emotional is right because it's not just feel better, it's delay deterioration.
Do we know the cause of Alzheimer's? She said no. Drugs aren't great, and lifestyle links matter.
Lifestyle links don't equal guarantees, though. People should not misread correlation as certainty.
If someone thinks a walk prevents dementia 100%, they're setting themselves up.
Right, the honest framing is, exercise is a risk reducer and brain supporter, not a shield.
I also loved the growth factor bubble bath metaphor, because it makes hippocampus cell growth feel tangible.
And she clarified it's new cells in the hippocampus, not just new connections everywhere.
That nuance matters because people think synapses everywhere, always.
But the human brain is more complicated than metaphors, so we should keep it grounded.
Let's talk about practical sequencing, because coffee came up and that's where listeners split.
Oh, caffeine debates are eternal. Half the internet says it's poison, half says it's rocket fuel.
Her stance was basically, titrate your coffee based on overstimulation.
I'm with her, but overstimulation can mean different things. Anxiety, jitters, sleep wreckage.
And if sleep gets worse, the whole brain plasticity story gets undermined.
Sleep isn't mentioned as much in this bit, but it's the hidden variable behind everything.
The brain equivalent of you can't out-train a bad night.
But she did emphasize immediate effects, mood, focus, reaction time, even from a single workout.
That's what makes it usable. Before stage, before a hard meeting, before you try to be articulate.
My brain is not attached to my mouth is the most relatable problem ever.
Like you're hired to speak, and your thoughts are buffering.
Exercise is basically a legal hack for attention and working memory readiness.
But we also have to be careful. Exercise doesn't replace deliberate practice or skill.
Your brain can't improvise competence out of spite.
Totally. It supports the system so your skill has better inputs and outputs.
I'm also thinking about the sedentary decision-making question.
Yeah, can being inactive make your prefrontal attention worse compared to what it could be?
Her answer was yes, potential, and she specified attention shifting as especially sensitive.
That's the hook for multitask addicts. Your ability to shift attention is trainable.
So if you binge scroll all day, your brain learns the wrong prioritization.
And then you blame your personality, not your inputs.
The memory types discussion helped too. Facts, events versus motor memory versus working memory.
It reframed my memory is bad, as which memory dimension are you judging?
I can't navigate without maps is not the same as I'm doomed.
It's just your hippocampus preferences plus your habits.
And her 4 memory stick factors, repetition, association, novelty, emotional resonance, are marketing gold.
Novelty and emotion are why samey content fails, right? It fades into background.
But marketers love to weaponize that and forget ethics.
True, but you can apply it to learning too. Surprise yourself, attach emotion carefully.
Like go for a walk and then learn something surprising on the route.
Exactly. Walk to create plasticity, then use novelty to encode.
Now you're not just exercising, you're building a loop. Movement supports cognition, cognition benefits behavior.
That's the reality check I needed. It's not magic, it's consistent biology plus smart habits.
And the simplest starting point is still the simplest one. Walk repeatedly, with enough aerobic push.
Walking is such a cheat code, but it sounds too easy, right?
Easy is suspicious, yes, because everyone wants a hack pill.
But this big, fat, fluffy idea is basically plasticity with receipts.
Receipts like growth factors hit the hippocampus, not vibes.
Exactly. Growth factors, new cells, and the hippocampus taking hits first in dementia.
So our brains are like, keep receipts or we'll deteriorate later.
That's a scary way to explain it, but yeah, kinda.
The part that freaked me out was the 30% less likely with walking.
In 6 years, right? Like you're stacking probability over time.
Probability stacking is not as satisfying as prevent guaranteed, though.
We don't get guarantees, we get risk reduction and better brain function today.
And today improvements matter. Mood, focus, reaction time, that stuff you feel.
She made it practical. Aerobic activity, heart rate up, every drop of sweat counts.
Every drop still sounds like motivational poster language.
True, but then she backs it with experiments. Low-fit people then spin studio extremes.
The low-fit group did 2-3 times a week, and mood and memory moved.
And the other group went up to 7 times. And the more they did, the more brain changes.
That gives us direction, even if it's not a neat formula like X minutes till Y neurons.
I love that you said neurons because she was careful. Synapses versus new cells.
Wait, remind me. Hippocampus can grow new cells, but prefrontal cortex gets synapse growth, right?
Yep. Hippocampus is special for new cells. Prefrontal cortex is more about forming connections and focus.
So exercise isn't just feel good, it's literally structural work in 2 different brain zones.
Big fat fluffy doesn't mean one smoothie of neurons, it means ongoing remodeling.
I wish humans were wired for patience, because biology is patient homework.
But even a single workout can help focus and reaction time, especially before speaking.
Tony Robbins on a trampoline suddenly makes brutal sense.
Because prefrontal cortex uses dopamine, so you can prime attention fast.
Fast attention priming, sure, but don't overclaim like instant lifelong memory upgrades.
Agreed. Momentary boosts are not the same as long-term plasticity, but both matter.
Speaking of boosts, what about coffee? She basically said titrate because overstimulation hurts articulation.
I feel personally attacked by "you can't put words together" after caffeine.
Me too, because I've definitely done caffeine rage focusing.
That self-experimentation framing is actually the most honest part.
Like a lab, but for your own brain. Titrate coffee the way you'd adjust dose on medication.
But people hate variable advice. They want one yes-no answer.
One yes-no would also be irresponsible science.
Also, caffeine interacts with sleep, and sleep wrecks memory if it's bad.
Exactly. Exercise can improve mood and focus, but coffee can sabotage the system if you overdo it.
This is where the reality check hits. You don't need a gym membership to start.
You need shoes and a consistent schedule, which is somehow harder than buying equipment.
Consistency is the whole thing. Plasticity responds to repeated inputs, not heroic weekends.
And the input needs to be aerobic enough to get heart rate up, not just casual walking.
Though aerobic gets translated into cardio math that people avoid.
So she made it intuitive. Is your heart rate up? Yes, then it counts.
Counts is the word that makes it sink in.
Because your brain doesn't accept excuses. It accepts movement signals.
And those signals release serotonin, dopamine, noradrenaline, plus endorphins, right?
And that mood boost is immediate, which is why behavior sticks, positive reinforcement.
So the brain teaches you to exercise by making you feel better from exercise.
It's a feedback loop, not a lecture.
And then your improved focus makes you show up better. At work, at relationships, at content creation.
She kind of implied your decision-making will improve with sedentary people having worse prefrontal function.
There's nuance, but there's plausibility. Attention shifting seems especially sensitive to activity.
Like the ability to listen while thinking about the random stuff in your environment.
Yes, that shifting and focusing attention skill is trainable.
Which is hilarious because people train attention with productivity hacks, not physiology.
Productivity hacks are basically keyboard shortcuts for a brain that needs maintenance.
That's why novelty and emotion from memory research matters too.
We just talked about it: repetition, association, novelty, emotional resonance. So exercise can even be the delivery vehicle.
Delivery vehicle is still a metaphor, but the concept is encode better while moving.
So you don't just walk. You walk in a way that makes attention and encoding win.
Like new route. Surprise yourself a little, then reflect emotionally. Doesn't have to be dramatic.
Dramatic cardio is my least favorite genre.
But even simple novelty, new neighborhood, new timing, new prompt, can make the memory stick.
And then the big, fat, fluffy brain becomes not a promise, but a practice.
Practice is what people can actually commit to, which makes the science usable.
All right, final reality check. Walk enough to raise heart rate repeatedly and titrate coffee like a scientist.
And stop waiting for motivation. Your brain releases the chemistry when you move.
The chemistry then supports the habit, and the habit supports long-term brain health.
That's the loop, and it's ugly in the best way. Boring, consistent, effective.
We'll see you in the next one. Keep moving, keep learning, and don't overcomplicate it.
Episode 2 is going to get even more practical, more brain routines you can actually do.
Okay, but the big, fat, fluffy thing sounds like a meme until you connect it to hippocampus.
Exactly, and then it stops being cute because hippocampus is literally memory for facts and events.
And prefrontal cortex is attention and decision-making, right behind the forehead.
Which means exercise isn't just body health, it's cognitive infrastructure.
Infrastructure is such a better word than glow-up, honestly.
Because infrastructure gets upgraded by habits, not by vibes.
But I still want the dosage. How much exercise before it's not just good intentions anymore?
In the research you just referenced, even low-fit people improved with 2 to 3 aerobic days weekly.
And the mood and memory and focus benefits show up after actually doing the workout, not reading about it.
Reading about it might upgrade your understanding, not your hippocampus.
That's a savage line, but true. And then the every drop of sweat counts part makes sense.
The point isn't a magic number, it's an exposure dose over time.
Exposure to what, though? Heart rate, neurochemicals, or growth factors like a bubble bath?
All of the above, but practically we can translate it to aerobic activity that raises heart rate.
Wait, if someone hates running, they can do power walking or soccer or spin, as long as heart rate goes up.
Yep, Your favorite activity works if it delivers the physiological stimulus.
I love when science gives permission to be lazy, like, fine, walk.
Lazy is doing it incorrectly, like only walking when it's raining.
Speaking of incorrect, coffee. People keep asking if coffee helps or hurts the brain.
And the nuance is wild. Caffeine is stimulating, but overstimulation can mess with word flow.
That's the marketer in me. Too much stimulation becomes noise, not signal.
Exactly. And if you're trying to put words together, too much caffeine can sabotage it.
So instead of coffee is good or coffee is bad, it's titration, self-experimentation.
Which is very annoying because it means you have to pay attention to your own data.
The worst kind of truth, personalized truth.
But it's empowering. Your brain chemistry isn't identical to mine, so adjust coffee like a scientist.
When would you say coffee is most likely to help? Morning focus, or before a talk, or always?
Before a talk can help focus and reaction time, but if you're jittery, that's the red flag.
Jittery is just panic with better PR.
Exactly. And the neuroscience takeaway is, movement improves focus even with a single workout.
So one session before speaking could sharpen attention and speed your reaction.
And it also boosts mood instantly. Dopamine, serotonin, noradrenaline, endorphins.
Basically, exercise is like pressing refresh on your brain's settings.
And it supports the habit loop. Chemistry helps the behavior. Behavior protects the brain.
I want to push back slightly, though. Mood boosts can feel like placebo if you're already motivated.
Sure, but placebo doesn't release growth factors into the hippocampus.
Fair growth factors are harder to placebo.
And there's also the dementia angle people get scared by, which is why walking is the starter drug here.
Starter drug is hilarious wording, but walking reducing dementia risk is actually the big anchor.
30% less likely with walking frequency in that older cohort, just by doing walks weekly.
And the longer you stay active over your lifetime, the more you stave off decline.
So it's less about reversing biology and more about building reserves and slowing damage.
Reserves is a good framing because it avoids miracle promises.
Miracles are for Instagram, hippocampal changes are for sweat.
Okay, but let's talk brain plasticity, because people treat it like a poster quote.
Yeah, they say brain can change, but don't know what kind of change happens.
Like Marion Diamond's rats, enriched environment versus shoebox, and cortex thickness differences.
That's synaptic connectivity increasing in specific regions, not the whole brain glowing up.
Then London taxi drivers learning routes, hippocampus posterior enlargement, and better spatial memory for the people who passed.
That's the you can train your brain structure with learning story.
But do we overgeneralize it? Like, will everyone get bigger hippocampi just by wanting it?
No, you need intensity and repetition, and exercise creates a neurochemical environment that supports growth.
So it's not willpower, it's stimulus plus consistency.
And stimulus is basically move, raise heart rate, repeat, then let biology do the rest.
I keep thinking about the coffee titration part because it's the same method. Adjust to your response.
Exercise and coffee both teach the same lesson. Listen to feedback. Don't worship rules.
Rules are for robots. Our brains are messy biology.
And messy biology loves small daily interventions. Walk early, do it before your brain gets busy.
If someone is sedentary right now, does that mean their decision-making is objectively worse?
The potential is there. Regular physical activity seems to improve attention shifting, which is part of executive function.
So we're not condemning them, we're saying, hey, your brain can get better at focusing.
And working memory too, like your scratch pad, though it varies by person.
That's where I liked the memory breakdown. Facts, events, motor memory, and working memory.
Different memory systems, different structures, different exercises for different brains.
Which is why your navigation friend can outperform you spatially without you being cognitively doomed.
Your friend's talent doesn't mean your brain is broken, it means it's specialized.
And that brings us to the practical part. Your brain isn't a single score, it's multiple skills.
And exercise is a broad spectrum intervention. It touches mood, attention, and memory systems.
So the reality check is, don't buy supplements, just buy consistency with movement.
Yes, and if you want coffee, titrate it. Don't use it to replace movement.
Perfect. So the actionable loop is, walk enough to raise heart rate regularly and watch your own response to caffeine.
Then you stop waiting for motivation because your brain chemistry shows up when you move.
Ugly loop, beautiful outcome, every drop of sweat counts.
All right, we're done for today. Go take a walk and pay attention to how your brain feels.
And seriously, keep learning, keep moving, and make it practical. Tomorrow beats perfect.
Episode 2 is coming up with more brain routines you can actually do, not just ideas.
I still can't get over every drop of sweat counts like, wow.
Right, because it's not vague motivation. There's actual brain circuitry involved.
The hippocampus and prefrontal cortex names alone make it feel real.
But I want the guardrails. How much exercise is enough without becoming obsessive?
Exactly, because people hear exercise and immediately go full gym into the grave.
The studies they're quoting are about aerobic activity and heart rate, right?
Yes, power walking, soccer, anything that actually raises your heart rate.
So the best kind is the kind you can do consistently enough to stay aerobic.
I love that it's like, not your favorite, but your heart's favorite.
The heart rate test is the most adult version of coaching ever.
And they mentioned experiments, 2 to 3 times a week for low-fit people?
That's the starter ramp, like you can see mood and memory improvements.
But then there's the other study, up to 7 times a week and more changes.
Which basically destroys the idea that once you exercise, you're done forever.
The brain is petty, it wants reps, not vibes.
I'm also hung up on coffee, not because I love it, but because it's unpredictable.
Coffee can be fine, but overstimulation can mess with word flow, like you said earlier.
So coffee is like seasoning, not the meal that replaces movement.
And titrate it. Do your own experiment instead of copying strangers.
I hate when people treat neuroscience like a one-size-fits-all hack.
Also, the brain can change shape part, plasticity, feels like the foundation.
Because without plasticity, exercise is just wellness theater.
The rat cage Disney World story is hilarious, but it carries the point.
Running wheel equals Disney World, and suddenly the rats are fit influencers.
Then you get humans. London taxi drivers learning streets, hippocampus changes.
That part is learning, not just exercise though, so it broadens the plasticity claim.
True, but exercise is still the practical lever for most people.
And it's not only structure, it's function, focus, working memory, reaction time.
Reaction time after even a single workout, like the body wakes up first.
Basically, your brain rides your blood flow like a bicycle courier.
That's disgusting but accurate, yeah.
I like that it gives people a pre-performance routine without needing supplements.
Which brings us to the dopamine serotonin thing. Quick mood boost, better attention.
And it's immediate, not wait 6 months for your gains energy.
I'm slightly protective here, though. Mood doesn't mean protection from dementia.
100%. They even said drugs are lacking and cause of dementia is not fully known.
Yeah, so exercise isn't a cure. It's a risk reducer backed by correlations.
Correlations can still be meaningful, especially when the mechanism makes sense.
Growth factors bathing the hippocampus, bubble bath of neurochemicals. I love the metaphor.
I'd never say bubble bath in a lab meeting, but it sticks in your head.
New cells can grow in the hippocampus, right? Not the whole brain.
Exactly, so you're not buying immortality, you're supporting the part that's attacked early.
The start early message is everywhere, though, and people in their 30s feel guilty.
But the evidence says it's never too late to start walking regularly.
That's the most relieving sentence I've heard this week.
So what would a realistic plan look like for someone listening who does almost nothing?
Easy. Start with walking that gets your heart rate up, not just casual steps.
2 to 3 times a week can be a baseline, then scale depending on your response.
And don't pretend you'll feel motivation first. Your brain chemistry follows the movement.
Yes, people keep outsourcing discipline to feelings, and neuroscience is like, nope.
Ugly loop, beautiful outcome. Your brain shows up after you act.
And for coffee, we titrate. If it makes you jittery or dull your language, adjust.
So caffeine becomes a knob you turn based on your attention and word flow.
Exactly, and exercise stays the core input, not coffee as the substitute.
Okay, I'm now picturing my hippocampus like a gym membership I must keep paying.
Big fat fluffy is a silly phrase, but the takeaway is consistent. Train the system.
If someone wants one action, walk more, make it aerobic, watch your cognitive mood shift.
And then write down how you feel. Your feedback loop is the real personalization.
Also, stop buying miracle fixes until you've built the habit.
Amen. Your brain plasticity loves boring consistency way more than hype.
All right, go befriend your hippocampus with some steps today.